at Yarn Talk, and I have an unboxing. Sorry. Not enough sleep, too much coffee, and excited about I've got my yarn hands going. Yay. Yeah, I ordered more from Mayflower. I know I just did a Mayflower haul. I know. But you see, I thought I was missing a ball, and turns out I wasn't. I had just changed my mind before I submitted my last order, and so they were totally good. The error was completely me. But I really liked that baby alpaca that I bought the last time, and it was on such a good sale that I decided maybe I'd try to find a color that I could put with it, because it wasn't a great color for me. And yeah, I went a little overboard, but they were doing a different special. If you remember the last time when I placed the Mayflower order, I placed it because they were offering a free ball winder if I bought 3 hanks of yarn I was planning to buy anyway. It was actually on my schedule to buy in November, I think. And so I was like, well, that's a deal I can't refuse, because I was just using a cheap but functional cake maker from Temu that I think I paid about $6 for. So I was like, oh, a free 45 euro ball winder. Let's do that. Well, they got me again. I have been looking, whoops, and I'm losing yarn. Come back, yarn. I'll show you in a minute. I have been looking at getting one of these neck lights for a while now. We know that my eyesight is not great. Yes, I have my bifocal contact lenses in today. But I'm going on a plane, and they like to turn the lights off. So I got this gorgeous neck light. It has multiple shades of light, warmth. I think they call it the warmthness. That cannot be a word. Anyway, I can make the light brighter or more moody, depending on my needs. It comes with everything that I need, including a charging cable. It's supposed to last 9 hours, which is the length of my flight. And it comes in this really nice case. The case is really nice. Anyway, this was free because I spent 67 euros. I think I spent 69 euros. So I was right there. But with a purpose. So I did get some of the baby alpaca. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Right. Can you see what I'm thinking? I was making a video in here, and my 7-year-old, who's on the spectrum, came in and said, "Mommy, my scarf is broken." I'm like, "Your scarf is broken?" He's like, "It's very broken." I'm like, "Okay." I don't know anything about this. He has a lovely Maple Leafs, Toronto Maple Leafs. Please, once in my lifetime. Scarf that he wore all winter. But apparently it's very broken. And he asked me to make him a red one. I said, "Of course I'll make you a red scarf. No problem." I was thinking about the red. And then we were talking about it later, and he decided that he might like a rainbow one. And the rainbow is part of the sort of autism identification symbols, usually rainbow puzzle pieces. So I thought maybe I'd try to do something like that. But anyway, we settled on a rainbow scarf. And I got 3 balls of each because I'd like to do one for each of the 3 little boys. So you have seen this before in their sort of pale pink, almost purpley lilac. Yes, it is all those colors. But this is the Mayflower Baby Alpaca that is still on sale for, I believe it's €2.85 a ball. Let me see here. It's 60% alpaca, 40% nylon. So it will be good. Will have good strength, good stretch for a scarf that's going to get used a lot. I can't decide if I'm going to do them as infinity scarves or just as a regular rectangle scarf. I haven't decided on that yet. They are suggesting 3.5 needles. There's no hook recommendation. I find there usually isn't. Mayflower tends to focus on the knitters among us. They have a gauge chart there that I hope is focusing and you can see. What else? Hand wash. Yes, I'm giving my children hand wash, but it's alpaca is so soft. It is just so soft and squishy. And it's both like fuzzy and silky soft at the same time. But you can do nothing with it. You can wash it by hand and lie it flat. That's what it says. We have color numbers and dye lots. Let me see. So they're 50-gram balls for approximately 100 meters. So I'm going to take the rainbow off of me. Put it here. And I just will go diving into the bag here and see if I can pull out. I just want to check and see if they've sent me all the same dye lot so that that's something I can tell you. But I didn't just buy the rainbow. Oh, no. As I said, I had this other color that really wasn't the color I was expecting. It did actually look quite close to the color on the screen, so I don't know what I had in my mind, but it's not a great color for me. And since I don't know what I will do with it, I thought, let's get some other colors that I can mix in there. So I did also get this lovely berry pink color. This is color number 4. And I just will check and see. Dye lot 2102, 2102, 2102. So they did send me all the same dye lot. So that is something to note if you are going to order, that they do seem to take that in mind and are consistent about that. So I have the lovely pink that could go with that very pale pinky purple that I already had. And what else? I got another color too. These are the purples. Same dye lot. Just checking it out. That's the green that I have there. Green and blue. Then I also got this incredibly dark green. This is like a dark forest, really darker than a hunter. Or maybe it is a hunter green. Color number 17. And I thought that would also go very well with the pale. It is a pale pink, but it's very much like a lilac pink. So it's got real purple. Well, it's right here. Okay, so praise the good Lord for editing because it was not where I thought it was. I'm like, oh, it's right here. I'll just pull it out. So I've run all over the house and I found it. So that is what I was thinking. I'm thinking that could be quite nice together. And so that is why I got the dark green. I don't know what I'll make. I still haven't kind of figured that out, but I figured with 3 balls of each color, that gives me 600 meters. That's enough to do something. That would be enough to do like a hat and scarf set or something. So anyway, that is most of what I bought. Seems like enough, but it didn't quite get me to this. And I could spend less on yarn that I could buy the cheap version of it on Amazon. So I bought more yarn. So I bought this pretty guy. They have Mayflower makes a lot of different sock yarns in a lot of colorways. So I bought 2 balls of this. And you can see the depth of that. They have a lot of sock yarn in various different I really don't, I'm not sure what the difference is. I think it has something to do with the patterns. And so this is their any day step-by-step 3. And as I said, there's step-by-step 2 and there's just a bunch of different ones, but they all seem to be similar makeup. So they're advertising it as strong and warm sock yarn. And they probably intend for me to use it for socks. But knowing me, I'm not gonna. I thought this would make a really, really pretty shawl. Just in a very sort of basic stitch to really let all of that color dimension shine through and be the star of the project. So that is what I'm thinking with this. So they are 100-gram balls for 420 meters or 459 yards if your brain works in yards and not meters. Sorry. As I said, very stuffy. 75% virgin wool. Again, nothing to do with the activities of the sheep, but it's about processing in that. So it's not super washed. And it's not chemically treated in the processing process. And 25% polyamide. Moving along, Ellen. Again, knitting needle recommendation, no crochet hooks on here, but 2.5 to 3 millimeters. I would probably, it's a thin weight. It's a sock weight, as you would expect. And but it's not a really thin sock weight, and it's got this interesting sort of 2-ply weave to it, which gives it that really dimensional look in the color. So for me, I will probably try, I might even start with a 5 and work my way down to a 4. I don't think I'd go smaller than a 4 with it for what I'm doing. And as I said, I'm going to make a shawl. It is classifying it as a 1 weight superfine, but in my mind, it's definitely a sport weight, sock weight, that category, which makes sense because it's sock wool. It is, you can wash it to 40 degrees, but no iron, no dryer. They're not saying lie it flat, I guess because they're expecting you to use socks, so maybe put it on sock blockers. It's made in Turkey. This is color number 2. They have sent me the same dye lot, so they are consistent about that. And this one has the Oikotech Standard 100 approval. So that is something we in Europe look for. I assume that's global. It must be global. I've never been paying attention to it, having lived anywhere else, so I'm not 100% sure, but I would think that that is a global certification. for quality and now for some ecological concerns. So that is that one. And it really is super pretty. It's going to make something super pretty if I'm careful about the stitch I use. Otherwise, I think it can get busy and looking like when the stitches compete with the color work, that's when a project can start to look messy, in my opinion. And then I think with all of that, I was still just under €1 away from my little light. So I bought one ball of Rimini, and this was in their outlet, and it was only available in this color, I think. I could be wrong, but I think that's why I bought butter yellow, is because that was sort of my option. It is super soft. Like, it is just, yeah, it is super soft yarn. It is, I don't even know what to call it, because it is kind of chainette, or chain spun, but it is filled. But it is not a blown yarn because it's not filled with fiber. It's filled, I don't know how well it's going to show here. So you can see the mesh tube, the chains, and inside of that is like I don't know if it's like foam, or it reminds me of that this yarn that's come out that's usually t-shirt material with this sort of poly foam filling that I think it was the Woobles that first came out with this kind of yarn because it would be good for beginners, and that was their focus. So I have never, and this is just me, maybe you guys have. If you have, tell me what brands and what it is. But I've never seen that in sort of a chain style. So I don't even know what to call it, because it's not really chainette because the chain is filled, and it's not really blown because this has not been blown. It's not blown fibers. So there must be a new term and I don't know it. Anyway, moving on from the advances in yarn. So it's 50 grams for 105 meters or 114 yards, 67% lyocell, 33% polyamide. Recommending 6mm needles. There is a gauge swatch, but it is in the middle of this donut, so showing it to you. 10 by 10 centimeters, 26 by 16. So 10 by 10 should give you 26 rows and 16 stitches, if I am reading that correctly. Made in Italy for Mayflower. Does have a lot, and this is color number 15. I don't know if this particular color is in the outlet because it's being discontinued. It's actually a very pretty butter yellow. So a great summer color. But I would say we're getting more towards the 5 range than the 4 range with this. I've been working with so much thin yarn lately that I am now having trouble saying, is that worsted? Is it not worsted? Is it? I will show it to you and you can decide. To me, it is looking, oh, maybe that's too. And I don't know if it's like the white behind the yellow that is sort of throwing me off. But to me, it just seems a little bit thicker than worsted weight. Anyway, I only got one ball. because I didn't want to spend too much more money. But I figured with one ball, I can do a little review. I can do something up and, throw it in the washer and dryer because I do that. I'm not seeing any washing directions on it, but maybe they are inside this ball. No, I don't see any washing directions on it, so I will play with it. One thing I'm noticing already, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little snag there and there. That has happened just as I've been touching it, getting caught on like little, like normal texture of my nails. So that's something I'm definitely going to be looking out for. But it is really squishy soft. But yeah, seeing all those snags, I use inline hooks with a very pointy tip. I'm just wondering how much damage I'm going to do to it working it up. We'll see. Stay tuned. I will work up Rimini. I like the sound of that. Rimini. Anyway, I'll work it up and see what it's like and do a full review, because I think a yarn this unique needs to be checked out. It's squishy soft. And really is a pretty yellow. I'm not a yellow person. You don't see a whole lot of yellow on this channel. But this one, it's pretty. This is why I don't. It's not a good color there. Which is strange because I almost never make anything for myself. And actually, I have made a lot of things out of yellow because, well, the German part of the family comes originally out of Dortmund, well, Bear Common, but, and they're European, so they're huge football/soccer fans. And so the colors for BVB or Borussia Dortmund are yellow and black. So there has been a lot of yellow and black making in this house, but I don't gravitate towards yellow. You probably didn't need any of that. Stop talking, Ellen, and go work something up. Okay, I will. Thank you for joining me. If you stuck around and enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe. Please hit that notification button because we have so many fun and interesting things coming up in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, next months. You don't want to miss any of it. So hit that notification. You might as well throw a like in there as long as you're clicking on things. Couldn't hurt. If you're curious about anything, throw a comment down there. I always answer the comments. I love talking yarn, and I love hearing other people's ideas and perspectives on things, and nobody around here wants to talk about it anymore. So if you also want to talk about yarn and the people in your life don't want to anymore, I'm your girl. Throw me a comment. We can chat about it. Yeah, so that's all for today. That's Mayflower. That's the second haul in a week. But for good reason. For good reason. I don't have to justify my yarn dropping, do I? Why do we do that? Because we do. Anyway, I'm going to stop and say, see you next time.